For context, for anyone that's like probably wondering what he's talking about, so he shared a video of a woman doing an exercise routine in literally just like a thong, and like it's like literally she's practically naked except for like a little G-string thong, and she's doing this workout, and literally her butt is shaking and everything. And he said this was soft porn.
Soft porn.
And I said, and Cressa, you can you can like write it exactly verbatim in chat. When there's a coin to be made.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. And like, at the end of the day, like, you're right. You know where you draw the line? That line is right there on her ass, holding up that piece of flap that is covering her coochie. And that's all I have to say on that matter.
I mean, yeah, I have really nothing to add here other than I guess thanks for sending the video, Gabe.
Oh my
Thanks,
God,
Gabe.
I blessed your feet. I mean, no, I think the conversation I wanted to have here, and you know, it's a conversation you can have like in the chat and stuff like that, is the fact that what we were talking about, it's not about the person who's doing the thing at all. It's about how that information is like who's absorbing that information, and like how it looks to, you know, people who tend to be younger generation who's like, this is what I aspire to, or this is what I'm doing, or this is how I'm utilizing what I have. And I mentioned to you guys, Gabrielle Reese, who was a great volleyball player and stuff like that, had an interview, and she was talking about she has daughters and she has to have conversations with them, like, yes, you know, be in your beauty, accept it, be around it, be in it, but don't make this what you're about. And I think that's the problem that I see with social media, is that, you know, I know people, and Brandon, one of our people here, he was talking about like his sister, who was like super young, was doing the WAP dance on TikTok, and he was like, what the like hypersexualized things for people who are like 7, 8 years old, who are growing up in this world where people are capitalizing on, like, you know, their body and stuff like that. And I don't know if you guys felt like that was okay or anything.
I mean, I do think this is a legitimately generational anxiety. Like this happened, like this has basically been sort of a conservative anxiety for a very long time, going back to like just like television. Like the fucking Super Bowl with Janet Jackson, the whole boob slip thing, like that was just like one of those things where people were like, oh my God, this is gonna scar a generation of kids, and it sort of didn't, just because like I mean, it's different now just because, like, you know, we have a lot more, all of this stuff is more visible. But I mean, again, like, you have to grow up in the world, and I think that like most parents are good enough to teach their kids, like, hey, this is like, I mean, you'll see this. It's not bad necessarily.
Because
I want to believe that.
We can't even get people to agree racism is fucking wrong. Are all parents fucking good?
Oh, I mean,
like,
I mean, oh man.
Like to just like
these are bigger issues than we can.
But I'm just saying, like,
if
a simple thing like that can't be addressed, and like now we're talking about growing up in a world of like coming into your sexuality, and I think that the United States doesn't do a great job at educating people on sex ed or whatever, versus like other places who are a little bit more like accepting about, you know, sexuality and body and et cetera, a little bit more fluid. And like we have a country who can't just agree on that thing, like, yo, you shouldn't fucking judge somebody based on the color of their skin. Like, I don't know, like I feel I have baby sisters. I have sisters who are young as hell. Like, if they grew up seeing whoever and they start fucking wearing, if they want to put on the bikini, like, I'm going to do this soft porn routine on Instagram, and they're like only 12 or 13, like, I'm going to look at that like, what? And that can be a thing. And
yeah, like, I think it's like that bit is problematic for like a host of other different reasons. But I mean, I take your point. I'm just saying, it's like, you know, like it's like the U.S. is like, what I think white supremacy is like a very different example.
Of course, yes.
Just because it's like that's what this country's built on. Like, there's no incentive for people to like give a shit about changing that, and that's like a whole other can of fucking worms. But I think, you know, as far as sexualization goes, I think it's like, yeah, it's hard to learn the difference between what's right and what's wrong. And I think it's also important that we like teach younger kids that like this is both okay, and also, you know, this is like the thing that you're seeing and want to emulate for like internet points can also be very harmful. Like, it's like about teaching them that there is a trade-off, and that trade-off is important to recognize, and also that like sometimes you're just too young for that. And it's like, I think, but again, like, I don't think that's on our institutions or really our platforms, because like I take that back. I do think it's on the platforms, but I do not think it's on institutions like the government to like teach kids that. Like, it's definitely on parents and on these platforms that like, I mean, the problem is the incentives, right? The platform's incentive is to build engagement by any means necessary.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, like, Twitch is weirdly one of the better ones about like banning people for nudity and stuff, but it's still, you know, like, there's still a lot of borderline shit on Twitch. But like, again, it's like, it's one of those things that's like, really, it's like the line is always moving, and it's case by case and contextual. I mean, I don't think anyone would like disagree that we shouldn't have like 12-year-olds doing the fucking WAP dance on TikTok. Like, that's uncontroversial. But I do think like it gets complicated.
Netflix made cuties, bro.
I do want to mention.
That's a
two
French
things.
film. That's a French film.
First and foremost, Strawberry, thank you so much for the raid. We see you. Thank you so much
you.
for that.
Yeah, thanks, Thomas.
Narz.
The second thing is, I really like what Cressa just said in chat. She said, kids are going to see it regardless. If you have children, you have to learn to talk to your kids. It does take a village, but don't expect people to raise your kids. Also, teach boys to keep their hands to themselves.
Absolutely.
And I feel like
huge.
at the end of the day, like these platforms all have an age restriction on them. If you're not mindful of your kids, you know, going onto these platforms and doing whatever, then you're not parenting really well. And if you're not involved in your kid's life and you don't have these conversations with them, you're going to have these hard conversations. You need to talk to them about sex, about drugs, because you don't want them to make the mistake of going down a bad path because you didn't fucking guide them. And that's the shit that pisses me off. Parents are too fucking pussy to take the responsibility to fucking parent their kids. And then you expect other people to parent. Teachers are not there to parent your kids. Your principal is not there. Your governor, it's you. They're your fucking kids. Yeah. Take care of them. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's literally on parents. Like there isn't, it's on parents and it's on platforms, because platforms also need to recognize that it's not just about gassing engagement.
Okay, so I want to throw this out there real quick before we wrap this up and get into Blackbeard. Still on the same thing, right? To say that it's on the parents and not on like the platforms. You did say, Bijan, that it's definitely on the platforms to add some sort of thing there, right? But like if the thing is socially acceptable because so many people are doing it, how do you define if it's like right or wrong then? Because like if everybody's doing it, then it's okay.
I mean, bro, morality is a thing. Like it's like these are questions of ethics and morality, and those answers don't really change. Like it's one of those things that is socially defined and constructed. The problem is socially defined and constructed, but like I don't see that as sort of a gotcha. I don't know. I think like there are like very clear answers to this depending on the situation.
Yeah.